Hey, Ma,
Yes?
guess what I'm doing today?
What are you doing?
Making some eggplant parm.
Are you kidding?
No, and I'm going to put it on the YouTube.
Wow, why would you do that?
Well, I want to, you don't mind our family recipe, do you?
I really do.
Well, I mean, we're getting older in life. We got to share these things with other people.
No.
Just this once, is that all right?
One time.
Okay.
That's it. I don't want to.
All right, can you state your name for the record?
Can I what?
Could you state your name for the record?
Oh, my name is Maria
Yeah.
DeLuca.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born Naples, Italy.
All right, so I guess if we want Italian food, this is a good channel.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Either that or go to Naples.
Italy, right?
Yeah, Italy.
All right, we love you, Ma.
Oh, I love you too, honey.
All right. Nani. See you soon. Welcome to Godfather Barbecue in Italian. Oggi fatta melanzane parmigiane. Today we're going to make eggplant parm. My absolute favorite of Italian dishes. And the crazy thing is I didn't like this meal till well into my 20s. You know, when you're a kid, you hear eggplant. We used to go, I don't know what it is, but when I'm not eating it, and me and my cousins, and we would joke, but I don't recall exactly how I started eating it. It was my mom's. I believe she made a chicken and eggplant parm. She used to do that a lot. Combination, have the chicken cutlets on the bottom and then do the parm over it. And I was like, wow, this is good. And my wife, she didn't eat it well until we were married for years. And one day I said, I'm going to make some eggplant parm. And she had never had it and tried it and was like, wow, this is good. But this is the only version she'll eat. And this version is a little bit different. I'll back up a little bit. This is our family's version. The area of Italy where my mom is from and our family is from is basically Naples. And if you go to Naples and you get eggplant parmesan, there's no breadcrumbs. Okay. And I think that's a major difference between the Italian American and the Italian version, if you will. At least in southern Italy, in their eggplant parm, they don't use breadcrumbs. And I'll get more into that in a minute. Um, the theory on that is it makes it, at least what I was told, it makes it heavy. Okay. Like it absorbs too much oil. And then with the eggplants have a lot of moisture and water in them, even though we're going to salt and try to remedy most of that. That's the reason why I was told by my mom that they don't use breadcrumbs there. Now they do cutlets, eggplant cutlets, and they'll use breadcrumbs and they'll put it make sandwiches or use it as an appetizer. Amongst the many you have at an Italian table. Every meal's a production, from what I can recall of it anyway. But let's get into this. Couple of things you really need to do. One is we're going to salt our eggplants, slice them and salt them, put them in a colander. I'll show you that for at least an hour and a half or so. You can do it as long as overnight. That's going to help draw that what's supposedly bitterness and water out of the eggplant. I know there's moisture there. I've never tried it, as far as the acidity goes, but that's the way we would taught to do it, and that's the way I do it. So I believe that's the reasoning behind it. So I'm gonna have. I normally do two large, jumbo eggplants this time of year. It's winter time in New England. This is what I was able to find. So we use four smaller eggplants. And this is an easy recipe, but it is time consuming. So because you have to let things sit or whatever. So I'm going to try to condense this video into as short of a format as possible. So you're going to need your eggplants, some salt, vegetable oil. Use vegetable oil, not olive oil. Olive oil tends to be too heavy. It also doesn't have the longevity as far as frying in big batches that you'll get from vegetable oil. And it also burns at has a lower smoke point. So you'll tend to burn more than fry if you do it with olive oil, this recipe anyway. Some all-purpose flour, some eggs. We're probably going to end up using 6 to 8 eggs on that. And these are something you can add as you go if you need more. So don't freak out about an exact amount. One of the stars of the show is actually some good Parmesan grated cheese, and we're going to layer that in, and that gives it that little bite, that little zing. If you're getting that when you get eggplant parm, whether you make it or order in a restaurant, that's one of the key indicators it was done according to what we think is right. You're going to need some shredded mozzarella. I go kind of light on this, mainly the first layer and the top. If you can get it thick shredded like that, that's great. If not, you can shred your own. You can get it at the deli. And the second most important part to this whole thing, other than the eggplants, you need to make your own marinara sauce for this. And we did a video. Just check it out. Please don't go through all this work, and mainly more so time than work, and throw some garbage gravy or sauce on this, please. This takes you half an hour, 45 minutes. Watch the video. It's simple. Some crushed tomatoes, onions, garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper. And you probably have everything you need right there. All right, so we're going to get to slicing and salting, show you that start of the process. I kind of break this down into two processes, really. That part of it, and then frying and bacon is the second part of it. All right, so we'll see in a minute. All right, as far as slicing goes, I generally like to use about a 1/4 inch slice, and you can cut them in circles, round or lengthwise. I like to do lengthwise. To me, I think the process goes a little quicker because you're frying more real estate of the eggplants. So I do it that way. Sometimes I'll do it, whatever you want to do. It really doesn't matter. But we're going to start by taking the ends off. And obviously these are round, so a neat little trick is to just take the side of one, do that. Now you got a nice level cutting surface. I'm going to take just the sides off here, so when we get to that last piece, we don't have all that skin in there. I do leave the skins on. Some people take it off. Doesn't matter. I like the skin on. All right, so basically we're going to get slices like that. About, like I say, about a 1/4 inch. Doesn't have to be exact, but you don't want to do them too thick. Okay, those are perfect. Watch your fingers. That one's a little thin. Okay, and that's perfect. So I'm just going to show you this one, but what I'll do now is I'll lay these out. That's a little thick. I'm going to just salt one side of them, and there's a trick to this, so you don't have to salt both sides. And you don't have to go crazy on the salt. Just this happens to be kosher salt. It's a little easier to work with. Give it a pat in. Now, when you take these, so you don't have to salt both sides, place them in your colander. You're going to take a colander and a bowl, okay? Have a colander that has some space on the bottom for drainage. You're going to put these in salt side down. Okay, just lay them. Don't worry about if they overlap. They're going to eventually anyway. Okay, so that's what they're going to look like, and I'm going to continue on. So now the next batch, salt's going to go down, so you're getting salted both sides, and then the last one, you'll just salt the top of that one last row, and then you'll have salt on both sides. Then we're going to weight it down. I'll use a can of crushed tomatoes. You can use whatever you have. We're going to put a plate over it, weigh it down, and let it sit for about an hour and a half or so, but I'll talk to you at that point. All right, so we're done with the slicing. I've went ahead and salted the last layer, this top layer, which is the only part of the eggplants that hasn't been exposed to salt. So this way we get everything. I'm going to take a dish or a bowl, whatever you have, that'll cover as much of the surface as possible. And just use any type of weight you might have. This happens to be an unopened can of crushed tomatoes. But whatever you have, you can use a. Sometimes I'll use the blender, fill it up. If I have a lot of eggplant, fill it up. You just got to be careful, it doesn't tip, or whatever you're using doesn't tip. This works good. You don't need a ton of pressure, but just something to help it along. Okay, so we're gonna again let this sit here for a minimum of an hour and a half. And you can go if you want, if you're prepping this. This is also a meal you can make ahead of time too. So if you're doing this, you want to start it, in the nighttime, you can certainly put this in the fridge as is and let it sit overnight and pick it up the next day. All right, so we'll see you in an hour and a half. Okay, so these have been sitted, weighted down for an hour and a half. Just want you to see what happens here when we talk about removing the bitterness and the liquid from the eggplants. You can see how they're sweating up there. But you see in the bowl, this is what you're taking out of, and I'll go ahead and press these down a little bit more. Um, just don't want to get dirty in front of the camera. But this also will help you with not having soupy eggplant. If you've ever had it in a restaurant where they don't do this, you'll know immediately by all the liquid in the bottom of your casserole or whatever they're serving it to you in. So it's nice. It makes a nice, firm, distinctively layered casserole, basically, is what it is. All right, so what we're going to do from here, I'm not going to bore you with, but I've got a tray with some paper towels. I'm going to go ahead and rinse each slice off individually and dry them with paper towels and layer them like you would bacon when you cook it, just to absorb as you go. And then we'll move to the frying process. We'll see you at that point. All right, folks, so we're at the end of the frying process. Dredged, dipped, shook it off. Just didn't want to keep you here through all the monotony. But you see what we have here. These are about 2 minutes aside, give or take. I've got them stacked here. As you see, they're beautiful. You're looking for color and tenderness. When the fork goes through them, eat with these. That's a good indicator they're done. But the color more so. They're still going to bake in the oven, so try to get them, fork tender as much as you can. Obviously, if you have thicker pieces, that's going to be tough without burning them. Okay, so that's why cutting them thin is important too. All right, so again, dredged. The flour and the eggs have a half teaspoon each of salt. I did not salt these as I fried them. Just got them golden brown and tender, about a total of 4 minutes, 2 inch aside, 2 minutes aside. And these are ready, so you see what I'm doing here. I'm just basically in and out. These cook quick. See that golden color? You don't need breadcrumbs, folks. Give that one a little bit more on this side. Beautiful. All right, now it's time to, I'm going to let them cool a little bit, and then we're going to move on to the assembly and the bacon. We'll see you then. All right, ready to get this put together and in the oven. I've got my red sauce, my marinara. One couple quick things about this. I want to use this at or a little above room temperature. Reason being, it makes it a little more moldable. We're only going to use a little bit of this. We're not making eggplant cacciatore, okay? We're making eggplant parm. Real authentic eggplant parm, not a lot of sauce, okay? So this will enable it to kind of meld in with the eggplant as it cooks, meaning it being at room temperature. It's a little thicker, obviously, okay? So I've already done the bottom layer here. This is about what it should look like. And I'm going to go ahead in my eggplant and just kind of build that puzzle. I normally go about 3 layers, and whatever's left, if there is any, I'll use for some sandwiches, okay? So we're gonna take this, again, you see how that's pretty pliable at this temperature, which is good. That's it. Okay. This is the only layer that I'm going to use. Pardon, sorry. This is one of 2 layers. I'm going to use both mozzarella and Parmesan on. If you like mozzarella every layer, go ahead. It's not really traditional. Usually it's just the last layer. But I'm going to just put a light coat of the mozzarella mozzarella. Okay, then I'm putting the star of the show. I want to be generous with my Parmesan, but I want to put it on evenly, okay? You don't want it all clumped up in one area. That wouldn't make for a fun bite. And again, this is to taste. You know, you don't like this much or you don't like any, don't do it. I'm just telling you how we did it. Or do it. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the process minus the mozzarella. This is the beauty of different sizes of eggplant, see? And you can even get creative. Look at that. Okay, same deal. Again, I just want to give these eggplants a kiss with that red sauce. That's perfect. Just keep in mind, you got multiple layers, so just the Parmesan this round, evenly as possible. That's my oven, 350, about 40 minutes. We're gonna put this in for. Back with the eggplants. I'm gonna come across this way, crisscross it. You don't have to, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. Get some on the sides here so as it cooks. Get with my Parmigiano. Nice. Okay. One lonely soul left.
It's a snack.
Yep. Okay, again, this one now. We're going to do the mozz and Parmesan. And if you want to go a little heavier for aesthetics, you can on this one, but not much. And again, try to get down a little bit in the sides here. That'll also help it from sticking when you're. That's about as heavy as I like to go. If you want to go a little bit more, you can. Not much. On with our Parm. Oh, smells so good, even cold. Basta. That means enough in Italian. Stop. Basta. Okay. Mozzarella. And this, if you want to heavy it up a little bit, you can make it a little heavier. Because it is the top and it's going to look all pretty. That's why I like the thick shredded. Or shredding it myself. But that's perfect. I believe these are 8-ounce packages. Yeah. So 8 ounces work perfectly for. That's it. Long, but just tedious, not hard. Okay. Well worth it, I promise you. I'm going to put this in the oven, 350, 40 minutes. It's going to be unbelievable. All right, so just pulled it from the oven. 350, 40 minutes. I don't really think I need to say much. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's incredible. Now the hard part. We got to let it rest. And traditionally, we, meaning our family and most of the Italian families that were in our neighborhood and anybody that made this, usually eats this warm, meaning at or slightly above room temperature is really the best way to eat it. And it's going to take a while to get there. So I'm going to see you in a couple of hours. We're going to cut into it, show you what it looks like. But in the meantime, it's going to be hell around here. All right, we'll see you then. All right, so we've let this rest just shy of about an hour and a half for the sake of time and the time of day at 6:35. So we're going to cut into this and eat it now. And I'll tell you the truth, I eat this cold sometimes. It's that good. I can't wait. I haven't had this in a while. We're going to cut half first. It's nice to get that sauce behind there so it doesn't stick. Points like this.
First piece is always the hardest.
We'll take another one out. So that one's better. So you can get a look and see all the layers. It's moist. Just enough sauce. Red sauce. I don't know if this were my last meal, if I'd want anything else. I'm going to give this a check. Forget about it. Best thing we've made to date. So give this a shot. It is a lot of work, but it's not hard. It's just time consuming. But the end result, wow. Can't wait for my wife to try some of this. My mother's here too, so that'll make it even better. Till the next time, we'll see you. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see here. We'll see you soon.